Happy Wednesday. What it do? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to Clarence Sports Talkative Jones. I appreciate you supporting, listening, downloading. Feel free to follow me on Twitter @_Clarence Jones. I'll follow you back. Let's talk sports, man. YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now subscribe to yours. Clarence Jones Sports Media. Visit my website, cjsportsmedia.com. Today, got a guest on, my dog, Bernard McCall, Brevard College wide receiver, NFL Draft 2022 prospect. Bernard McCall, how you doing, man?
Good. I can't complain. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Happy to have you on. I know it's a busy April for you, man. The big day is coming up, and I can only imagine the things you got going on, man. Busy schedule. I'm happy you've been able to take time out and talk to me and my audience, man. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about your preparation, man, for the 2022 NFL draft. What it's been like, man, and what you've been doing.
Just grinding every day. It's been a different process in a sense, just as far as when I got to school this summer, I transitioned to a new position. I went from wide receiver to tight end. So me preparing, trying to gain weight, meet all check boxes before scouts see me and things of that nature. It's been a long process, but next week it'll be the end of that as far as the preparing process. So I feel like
cool, man.
Yeah.
So you've been on my podcast now for 3 days. For 3 times, saying 3 days. 3 times you already been on. I think you've been on my original one, Clarence, the Clarence Jones show. Then you've been on my episode, I think 13 or 14. So this is your 3rd appearance. So what I noticed is the first 2 appearances on my podcast, you was a wide receiver. So now you at tight end. Talk about how that went down as far as changing the position and, mentally, how was you, taking it, and physically, how did you feel? Because, we got some athletes, no disrespect, they want to stay, where they started at. Sound like you went through a transition. So talk about how that went down mentally and physically for you from wide receiver to tight end.
Last time I was here, we talked about me getting ready to go to Brevard College. And, during that pandemic time, it gave me a lot of time to think on school choices and things of that nature. So I had a friend, he went to a HBCU, and he went to HBCU called Livingstone College, where the great Sean Gilbert was coaching there. And he had Coach Gilbert call me. Coach Gilbert kind of taught me into leaving Brevard College. And so I enrolled early August at Livingstone College. And my first few days of camp, I kind of won playing time over some of the returning faces as far as at the receiver position or just pass catching in general from the slot to the outside. And in the CIAA conference, they don't see too many dominant pass catchers. You see a lot of dominant running backs. You see a lot of dominant defensive players. You don't see too many dominant pass catchers. And Ted Washington, he's probably going to NFL Hall of Fame. He played for the Patriots and a few other teams as well. But he pulled me aside one day, and originally I told him no when he asked me about playing tight end. I kind of shrugged it off. I said, "Nah, I'm good," because I knew that I could. Yeah. I know I could play, wide receiver. So I didn't really give that conversation much time to develop. So later on that day, right before practice, somebody came to me in the locker room and was like, the coaches want you in the office upstairs. So when I walked in the office, all the coaches are sitting in like a circle, and my chair was facing them. And so, at first I thought I was in trouble. I was wondering what was going on. And they, each coach, because most of my coaches played in the NFL, they all sat me down. They said, you're a good wide receiver. I have good tangibles and things of that nature. But if you take those tangibles and put them with the tight end, I would be a great tight end. And, some of these guys, they were number 5 overall picks in the first draft. Some of these guys, like I said, Coach Washington, he'll go in the Hall of Fame. So they was telling me stories about, the similarities between me and Shannon Sharp, similarities to some of the other tight ends that were at Livingstone. there before me, like the great Ben
Right.
Coates. And so I said I would give it a try, but my whole thing with transitioning from wide receiver was, I'm used to catching a lot of passes. So, I don't want to just be out there blocking.
Yeah.
And that's when they started to talk about like Kyle Pitts and Travis Kelce, George Kittle, and people like that. So we
Right.
kind of, I'm not going to say we based the offense around me, but I caught a lot of passes from out of the slot. And at first, the transition, when you take away the pass catching, blocking defensive ends was something new to me coming out of 3-point stance, and it was rough on me at first because, I'm probably 225 at the most at the time, blocking guys who were like 230,
Right.
240, 250, and some very athletic guys I played in the CIAA. But after a while, I stayed after practice because I got tired of getting beat. So I stayed after practice.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with the offensive line coach, and they taught me hand placement, taught me how to drive with my hips. And from then on, it was just like clockwork because outside of the blocking aspect, tight end is just a bigger receiver, and I played in the slot. And I just don't believe that there is any linebacker that can guard me. So from then on, the toughest part about the transition was I've been double teamed before, but it's kind of easy to beat a double team from the outside. It's kind of hard to beat a double team from the slot because you don't know where it's coming from. Some teams are pretty tricky. They would have the one guy follow me if I beat him at the point of contact during the press. But I wouldn't know if I'm being passed off from a linebacker or the nearest deep safety. So some teams would trick us. Would try to hit me on a skinny post, and because I'll come across the first safety, and the second safety will come and get a hand on the ball, or even some safeties they come and try to place a big hit on me. I think a lot of teams' goals would just not let me get the ball at all. So yeah, to me that was the biggest transition: the blocking and trying to beat the double team and helping I had a young quarterback, trying to help my young quarterback read coverages on the fly. So that was the biggest transition for me.
Got it. Now, do you feel like you had to accept that transition, or you feel like if you would have said, know what, all due respect, coach, I want to kind of stick with wide receiver, like you think it would have been like some type of problem or just confusion, or you just, how do you feel about that, man? Like, far as like, did I have to really do this, or should I stay at wide receiver, or you just kind of go with the flow?
I didn't feel like I had to do it because, like I said, those coaches, they were only doing what they felt like was best for me, and I trust those coaches because I know those coaches love me and they just want to see me thrive at what I love to do. So when you have people who, like I said, will probably go in the Hall of Fame, when you have people who played at the highest level, they played in multiple Super Bowls and things of that nature. Sometimes you want to. It's best to take their judgment because they have been there. So
that's true.
I felt like
that's true because I thought about it.
I just felt like I could take that judgment and take it and run with it. The way my work ethic would determine ultimately how far I would go at any position that I would play, and I felt like I trust my work ethic with it.
Right. And I was going to say, like, along with what you said, man, you think about some of the players that played in the NFL. For example, Tim Tebow. I remember when Tim Tebow was coming out, he was tied to fullback and he was tied to running back, and he was just like, no. And he played quarterback, and he had a one big playoff moment, he threw the ball in the big playoff game against Pittsburgh to Demaryius Thomas, but for the most part, his career kind of didn't win his plan because he wanted to stick with quarterback, and everybody else was like, yo, try fullback, running back, maybe tight end. And then years later, we see Tim Tebow came back, got on with the Jaguars, Coach Urban Meyer at the time, and, he was willing to accept tight end. So it makes me think, what if he would have accepted right then and there? Who knows how his career could have turned out? So going back to you, working with coaches that been in the game, played in the game, know the game, I think that's a, great lead to follow, man. People that been in the game and, in the Hall of Fame telling you, hey, I think you'll do great at this position. So, like, I like where you're going with that, following their lead.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
And another thing, I just always feel like the right system will help anybody thrive. if you're in the right system, I think for the Broncos, even no matter what position Tim Tebow played there at the time, I don't think it would have worked out because he wasn't a bad quarterback. Won a Heisman, national champion. I don't think he was a bad quarterback. I just think maybe with a veteran Demaryius Thomas instead of a young Demaryius Thomas, things probably would work better. Maybe with that Broncos team they have now, excluding Russell Wilson, some of the pass catchers they have, maybe that would work. They have a decent running back. I can't name more than 3 people, not naming Tim Tebow, that played for the Broncos then. They play offense at least. So I believe the right system, and the system that I played in, it was it was balanced for the most part, but we want to throw the ball, we want to put up points, we want to get your playmakers in space. So the offense this year really helped me thrive as far as for me to feel comfortable playing tight end.
Got it, man. Now, have you spoke with any representatives from the NFL? If so, man, what are those conversations like? What are they telling you, and what are you asking them?
I've spoke with a few teams. With me being a Division II HBCU guy, I'm not really too picky because I want the I just want the opportunity. I want the opportunity to showcase my talent and things of that nature at the highest level. So the only thing I ask them is, when I get the call, where do I need to be, or what else do you need from me? What else do you want to see? As far as weight gain, like I weigh 250 now. What else would they need?
Right.
But I've spoken to a lot of teams. A lot of teams like what they see. I'm a big guy that can run. That's not too common. So my receiver background helps me with a lot of things. So, yeah.
Got it. And what are these teams, man? Is it like just scouts, as far as is it like actual NFL teams, or just more like scouts from college that's trying to work in the NFL? Or are you actually talking to like NFL?
Yes, sir. I've talked to some NFL teams. I've talked to the Colts. I've worked out in front of the Panthers' whole coaching staff. I've talked with Matt Rule personally. I've talked to the Falcons. I've talked to the Ravens and the Jets. As far as like serious conversations. But at the 2 All-Star games I played in, we have a session where you sit and just talk with scouts. Like they're you go to their table. So kind of like if you can imagine speed dating, you sit at one table for a certain amount of time, then you go to the next table. Yeah, so that's what it was like.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
Okay. Got it, man. Now, staying on the big day, man, as far as the preparation and, talking to NFL teams, do you have any worries, concerns? Are you nervous about this preparation, man?
I'm not nervous about the preparation because I know I've worked for this. So that my confidence comes from the work I put in. As far as the results, I don't really worry myself about those because I just remember, I'm a D2 HBCU guy. I'm from South Carolina. I didn't go to a prestigious high school where we're full of top-notch recruits or we're even known for winning. I'm blessed to even be here because a lot of people they just don't make it to this process to even be a prospect.
Right.
So I'm just soaking it in. I'm blessed, and I keep a positive mindset through it all.
That's what's up, man. Now, throughout your draft preparation, have you came across anything like surprising? Like, is it something that you didn't know before that you know now?
Oh man, it's hard to pinpoint one thing. I think the most obvious thing, the most obvious thing is nutrition. At those Division I schools, you have a nutritionist, or you eat food away from the regular cafeteria. That would probably help
Right.
if I had that. But me coming home and preparing for the draft, I had my mom to help me cook things that I would need. I was able to just cook, period. I didn't have to eat what was ever in the calf. So that was the
Right.
biggest help for that. Also, okay, so at a pro day, you do, obviously you run the 40 and things like that. But what I don't
Yeah.
think is talked about enough, you train for 3 to 4 months to run a 40, but you don't really condition. You just train for the 40 and the other agility drills that are there. You want to have the best time possible. So you're focusing on time. You're not focusing on conditioning. So me and some of
Right.
the other guys, we was at a workout for the Panthers, and they gave us a break because the coach was like, he didn't want to kill us, but we was just happy that he understood. Like, yeah, we've been training for the last 3 months to run a 40-yard dash. That kind of kills your conditioning because that's all you're really working for. So I
Yeah.
think it's
Right.
good to, if I had any advice for anybody preparing for their pro day next year, yeah, work on your 40, but make sure you condition a little bit too.
Got it, man. Now your last game, you so you wasn't at Brevard your
No,
last
sir, I
college
was
game.
at Livingstone College this past semester.
Okay, so let's talk about your last game at Livingstone. Far as the moments, your stats, plays you made, the opponent who won the game. Kind of talk to me and my audience about that last college game, man. That last feeling.
Well, my last college game got called early in the third quarter. Things got chippy. It was a rivalry game. We were already up 17-0. What was funny about it, the offense didn't stay on the field too long. The defense scored 2 touchdowns. The only time the offense was on the field was the first drive of the game. We kicked a field goal. As expected,
Right.
I got double teamed. So I didn't get too many targets in the first half. I think I maybe got, one catch, maybe, if I remember right. There was one catch in the first half. It probably was like 5 yards just to get a first down. It was like a hitch. And but as far as the moment, my mom had texted me that morning and just telling me she was proud of me, and for me that's everything. I completed 4 years of college football. My mom, like I said, she was proud of
Right.
me. So in the moment, I didn't cry like high school football because I knew it wouldn't be my last game. But the friends that I had made, this past semester, those are some lifelong friends. We've talked every day, even though I haven't been on campus because of preparing for the draft.
Right.
I was just enjoying the moment with them. Got the win over a rival. It's some kind of trophy you get for it. I haven't found the name of it yet, but it's some kind of trophy you get for it. We just enjoyed that moment. Came back. The head coach, he was dancing with us. It was a very good day. It was a very good day.
Yeah. Cool, man. Now staying on Livingstone College. Is it Livingstone or
Livingstone.
Livingstone? Okay. So staying on Livingstone College, did you guys have like a pro day? If they didn't, how did you and your teammates were able to display your talent to NFL scouts and
Okay, so
coaches?
no, sir, we did not have a pro day. I had to do my
Okay.
pro day at UNC Charlotte. They the Packers and the Panthers had requested for me to showcase my talents with them, and so I went out to UNC Charlotte on April 1st and did my pro day there. I tested well in every category that morning.
Good. Was it like a heavy competition? Was it just like a tight end battle, or you kind of went with involving offensive plays and some separate tight end drills? I mean, like, how was the actual breakdown of the
So
workouts?
we started off with you get weighed in. You got all kind of positions there, not just tight ends. So You got tight ends, wide
Okay.
receivers, running backs, defensive ends, offensive linemen. You got everybody there, and I think you try to compete and beat the person that was in front of you. Uh, just
Right.
matching times, trying to be the best that you could be. One guy, he went before me in the
Yeah.
broad, and man, he jumped like a 12 something, almost a 13. It was something that I ain't never seen before in my life. And so me going right after that,
Right.
I'm like, man, I know I'm not gonna beat it, but I'm gonna try to match it though. I know I'm gonna try to match it though. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
did bench
Right.
press. You always want to try to get the one. They call it die under the bar. So basically, you go till you can't go no more, and let them pick the bar
Yeah.
up off your chest. So you want to push limits with every drill there. I did not. Well, we didn't have any offensive drills as far as route running and things of that nature that day, but I ran routes
Okay.
at all of my all-star games that I've been to. And so, yeah, that as far as that, when you speak on competition and things like that, yeah, you want to show that you can stand out from everybody at your position in every aspect when they're watching you.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That sounds like a fun competition that I'm
So,
pretty sure
yeah.
you enjoyed. So let's talk about your entire college career, because I believe when I first was talking to you, my first time interviewing you, you was at it was like it wasn't like a
Yes, sir.
Palmetto College. I can't
Palmetto
think of the
Prep.
name.
Yes, sir.
So you went from
Yes,
Palmetto
sir.
Prep to Brevard College to Livingstone. Talk about what you appreciate through all those experiences, man. Because that sounds like a journey and a lot of learning.
Yeah.
I'm sure you learned.
So I appreciate the most was the struggles from each place that I've been. The struggles make you appreciate the high times, as far as the high moments where you feel like you're on top of the world and things like that, because you know what you've been through. At Palmetto Prep, we're a junior college, so my first year, we had all the talent in the world. Like my first year, it's like 3 or 4 of us that are in this NFL's draft, and but
Right.
we seemed to just we couldn't get things going. We just couldn't get things going. We couldn't really win. Like we may have won like 5 or 6 games that season, but the next
Yeah.
year following that, we won 10 in a row, won the championship, and that I appreciated it a little more because just the previous year, man, we just couldn't win. We couldn't put things together. So and from there,
Right.
was going to go to Brevard. I had signed to go there, and the pandemic hit, and their season got canceled. So I didn't want to go on campus and not be playing football. So stay
Right.
here and stay here in Columbia and worked out every day. And that's when I came across the opportunity to go to Livingstone. I got to Livingstone, and my transcripts and things were late, so I missed the first 2 games of the season. And having not played the year before because of COVID, I was a little depressed because
Right.
football is my everything. I felt lost without football. So now I'm sitting there. I had to sit for 2 games. I'm like, man, what's going on? But
Yeah.
the first game I got to play, I couldn't even sleep the night before. I was so excited. I'm calling my friends. They telling me, don't feel like you got to be a superhero. Just let things come to you.
Right.
Nerves were running. And then my first catch was a 20-yard. I caught a corner on 3rd down. And from then on, I was just like, yeah, I'm back. I'm back. And I think I went on the rest of that game. I had like 5 catches for 80 yards. It was a pretty good experience throughout the rest of the season. Like I said, it was a real good learning experience, especially with me changing positions. And now we're where I'm at now. I played in 2 All-Star games, one in December in Daytona, Florida, the FCS Bowl, one in January, the college in Texas,
Right.
the College Gridiron Showcase. in front of 30 plus scouts at both of them to getting ready
Wow,
for a pro
that's
day.
cool,
Got
man.
ready for my pro day, and then now I'm here, just doing interviews and answering whatever questions anybody has for me as far as the NFL and my journey to getting there. So next week will be real interesting.
Definitely, man. Now, if a student athlete was considering, Palmetto Prep, Brevard, or Livingstone College, why should they attend?
For me, it was more on. I think they should attend because of how the coaches are. All the coaches, they take their time and they really coach you. A lot of people they coach. A lot of people coach so
Yeah,
they don't lose their job. Then you have some coaches who coach because they want to see you thrive. And I felt like all those places, that's what those coaches do. And and no matter where you go, in my opinion, if you don't grind, it won't work out, man. You have to put in the work. You only
right,
get what you put in, no matter where you go. I tell people you can go to Alabama, but if you don't work, it won't work for you. So
right.
that's what I feel.
Definitely, man. Fair is
Yeah.
fair. You got to work. Definitely, man. I appreciate that. What's your thoughts on other football leagues? The USFL, XFL.
Oh man, that looks. I watched one of the USFL games on Sunday, and it looked fun. I think I read something, I don't know how true it is. The USFL may possibly be playing the XFL next year. I think that's what's going to be what takes the league to the next level, because that would be exciting.
Right.
First of all, it's spring football, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
But now you could possibly, I think they should do something like you win a USFL championship or XFL championship, and then you play for like a universal championship or something. You can win your league and then go beat the best team in another league, or however they work it out. But that's my idea
Right.
for it personally. But I think that's a good way for some of these guys who need another chance to showcase their talents to get on a roster. I think that's a great way for them.
Got it, man. If your NFL dreams don't go as planned, could you see yourself playing in the
Yeah.
USFL,
Yes, I
XFL?
could. I see myself playing anywhere. The USFL, XFL, arena football, the CFL. For me, it was never really about the money. It was more about just playing
Right.
football. So I'll play football anywhere. I go in the backyard and throw it if I got to.
I love that, man. I love it. Talk about your name, image, and likeness deals, man, that you earn in college. How did you receive those
Okay,
deals?
so I had a deal with Phenom Elite, and I played with Phenom Elite. The owner, actually, he was one of my coaches at Palmetto Prep, and so when that came about, he was like, "Man, if they had this when you were in junior college, that you would have been the guy." And so we did it for me because I really just wanted the gloves rather than the money. And
Right.
so they hooked me up with some
Yeah.
nice gear, and of course, if I did a photo shoot or something, they would give me a nice check. But it was a great deal. They knew I was a good guy. I knew they were good people. So, it wasn't like some of these guys who, they're signing their name on stuff that they really don't know anything about. They don't really know these people and getting in bad situations. But I
Right.
think for me, that was a great situation for me. It was a football brand, uh, good people. I've known these people for years. So it was easy for me to trust them.
Got it. Now, when it comes to these deals, are these deals break down by like days, months, years? Like, how do they actually, like when you guys talking about the deal, is it like a long term, short term, or just 6 months, 3
So
months?
we never actually talked about an end term for the deal, but I know for a fact,
Okay.
for you to get paid and stuff like that, so NIL is basically what you sell, or in a sense. So
Got it. Got it.
say you buy something, but you use like my promo code, I get a percentage of that. So It's harder than what a lot of people think when it comes to athletes getting paid. Even when the athletes, they get sponsored by like Church's Chicken and things like that. You know, you have to take time to make a post and do ads and stuff like that. You know, it's harder than what people think.
All right. Thanks for breaking that down to me and my audience, man, because I know, you have already experienced the NIL, name, image, and likeness. So I appreciate you for breaking that down to us, man. If your name is called on draft day, what can your coaches and teammates expect from you?
Expect a guy that's going to come to work every day. And I know a lot of people say that, but, anybody who knows me know I work when I don't have to. I work on the days I don't want to. I don't complain about it. I'm going to just show up and work every day, expect a competitor, whether we're 17-0 or 0-17, and expect every rep to be a Super Bowl rep.
Right. That's what's up, man. Definitely appreciate that. Now that's a wrap, man. Thanks for the interview. I appreciate you. Before we close out, you got any shout outs you want to make?
First and foremost, shout out to my mama. Shout out to the guys that I work out with. Shout out to the Madison Fitness Facility. They had, prepared me as far as weightlifting and things like that. And shout out to the Gladiator School training for training me on the field.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Now, and where you located again? Because I hear, whistles. It's like some footballs around you, man. So where you at again?
I'm on the field
right now.
I'm on the field right now. I'm on the field right now.
Grinding. Got it, man. Thanks, Bernard. Thank you all for tuning in and listening to me and Bernard's interview today. We appreciate your support. Bernard, we're going to, need you to stay online with us for a few minutes. To my audience, happy Wednesday, everybody. Keep in mind, follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back at _ Clarence Jones, my YouTube channel. Subscribe to mine, subscribe to yours, Clarence Jones Sports Media. Check out my website, cjsportsmedia.com. And Bernard, before we go, man, let's get your Twitter. Let's get your YouTube, your Facebook, Instagrams, man.
My Twitter is Dolas World 23. That's DOLAS World 23. And the same thing for Instagram. And Facebook is Dola Bernard McCall.
Great, man. Great. We appreciate it. Thanks for listening to our interview. Happy Wednesday. Be safe. We out.
Peace.
Peace.